Hi everyone. Doing this video on the same day I do my intro video just to help me out and to allow me to play with the video editing a little bit before these go live. I guess the first video I want to do is getting to know me a little bit. So I want to do this in a little bit of a similar fashion to the people that I watch on YouTube did this. So I'm going to be doing like a facts video, and it's just basically to get to know who I am and what I like so that maybe you can find something to relate to you. Alright, let's do this recording. So today it is January 25th, 2019. I am 24 years old. My birthday is in August and I'll be 25 this year. Where did that time go? Be short, I'm only 5'2". My sport is actually football. Not NFL football, that's boring. No, CFL football. I will watch pretty much any CFL game, but by far, my favorite team is the Riders. Go Riders, go! I actually don't have any siblings. I am an only child. And this comes with its own benefits and setbacks. I could do a separate video if you guys wanted to on what it's like being an only child growing up. The zodiac sign is Leo. Right-handed or left-handed? I actually am right-handed when it comes to writing, but I'm left-handed every time I hold a stick. Very rarely wear makeup. My skin absolutely hates it. I actually get really itchy when I wear any type of makeup. The answer to this question is, as of right now, no. But in high school, and I guess technically junior high, from grade 7 to grade 12 in Canada, I played bassoon. And I guess I can put a picture in here to show you what that looks like. And this is something that I actually ended up missing quite a bit in university. I didn't realize how much I would miss it until it wasn't there. So don't take your stuff for granted. I got my 4-year degree in biochemistry. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in biochemistry. Biochemistry is the study of life at the chemical level. I chose biochemistry because I really started to fall in love with it. And unfortunately, at the time that I started school, I was not as into science or not as into real science as what I am now. I fell heavy into alternative medicine. And biochemistry was actually one of the options I could do to get into naturopathic medical school, which is weird now, being that I know they don't even know any biochemistry. Biochemistry is what changed me as a person throughout my whole university career. Studying what is a GMO, why vaccines work, and being exposed to basically a lot of medicine as an undergraduate was a huge benefit for me. And I kind of gravitated towards the more of the genetics and molecular biology aspect of biochemistry. So like what happens when this gene goes awry, or what happens when you take this enzyme out of the equation, kind of thing. And as we know, all enzymes are proteins. All proteins come from genes. So that's why I fell in love with biochemistry. And now I have a real love for the lab. I actually didn't realize how much I missed it until it was gone. My favorite class in high school was actually nothing related to the sciences at all. It was called information processing, and it was where we got to learn basically how to use programs like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Publisher, and how to type properly. Without these, I would have been in a lot of trouble in university. We basically got to use a bunch of different programs. We also designed websites, and it was a blast doing these projects. We got to work at our own pace, so if you got something done earlier, you could hand it in earlier. And it was just a great way to spend basically an hour a day doing this class. I really, really enjoyed it. And like I said, it's been the best class I ever took in high school. It's been the most useful. The favorite My favorite class I ever took in university that was actually not related to biochemistry was probably toxicology. I have never been used a quote so much in my life, and that quote is the dose makes the poison. So when it comes to thinking about different ingredients in food or what people consider toxins in food, always remember the dose makes the poison. So if something is claimed to be toxic, you gotta understand that it's the dose of that toxin that makes it toxic. My favorite biochemistry class that I took was called the Biochemistry of Cancer. So this is where we learned how different pathways could lead to unregulated transcription of elements that promoted cell proliferation, which is basically what cancer is uncontrolled cellular replication. So basically, these different pathways that we learned were based upon what our profs had dedicated their lives to. So it's really interesting to listen to. But I don't think there's any one of us in that classroom who hadn't had someone who's been touched by cancer. Not only that, but you get to see at just how far we've come in cancer research. So the idea that researchers haven't gotten anywhere because we don't have a cure for cancer is just absolutely ridiculous. We've come a long way from where we were even 30 or 40 years ago. It's just that cancer is complex. Yes, I do have actually a couple medical conditions. My major medical condition is I have a condition called idiopathic intracranial hypertension. This is a condition where my brain actually makes too much cerebral spinal fluid, or CSF. The cause of this is unknown, which is why it's idiopathic, and I will be doing a separate video on this topic at a later time, hopefully soon. And my second one is actually a dietary restriction. My doctors were on board with this when I told them how I felt being gluten free. So I'm happy that they were open to this idea. Being diagnosed for idiopathic intracranial hypertension, or IIH, was not an easy thing to do. Even once the doctors knew the path to take, once I had my MRI results, it involved some very painful procedures after that. I was pretty terrified for the MRI actually because I am a little bit claustrophobic, and I knew this from a previous camping trip when I had to stay in a fairly enclosed space during that camping trip that I had a little bit of a panic attack. But since I'm in Canada, MRIs are actually covered under our provincial healthcare. So if you can wait for the public healthcare system to have an MRI, you're actually covered for it. So I decided to make the most of this and was asked if I wanted sedation, but they said I would need a different appointment, and I had already been waiting 2 months, and I just wanted a diagnosis at this point. So I'm just like, no, I'm just going to push through it. I'll close my eyes and do whatever I have to do to get through it. I got through it, and then I actually ended up needing a lumbar puncture, and the lumbar puncture was the scariest medical procedure I have ever had. The night before, I hardly slept. I was so scared. I was actually literally shaking in the hotel room. Overall, the procedure was actually not as bad as what I had expected it to be. The answer is yes. Unfortunately, I have actually broken 3 bones. I gotta actually show you the right side. My computer's actually showing me the right side. So on my right hand, on my right wrist, on this side, I broke one bone in here when I was 8, and another one when I was 16. And I actually broke my left ankle when in gym class when I was 15. Yeah, high school wasn't the greatest of times for me. It was an emergency a lot. I do have allergies in the summer from any type of wildfire smoke. Smoking in general really, really bothers me. Dust is really, really bad. This is just from basically my history of childhood asthma. It's really the only thing that makes me really congested anymore. And so basically, like dust, pollen, stuff like that. As for food, no, I do not have any allergies. I am actually farsighted. I know, weird. I'm wearing glasses, right? You'd think I wouldn't need them? Actually, no, I'm using the computer right now, so I need to make sure I'm wearing my glasses. Reading, using the computer, anything up close, should be wearing my glasses. If I'm doing my workout or looking up something far away, then I actually don't need my glasses, but I usually tend to wear them anyways. I've just been used to wearing them all my life. I get asked this question a lot, being that I have a lot of appointments with my IIH. So I do Zumba fitness along with high intensity interval training. So I do 2 days on, 1 day off on Zumba, but the 1 day off is where I do the HIIT training. I also do 9 minutes of stretching after every workout. As you can imagine, I probably have a lot more spare time than what a lot of people do. So I actually do quite a bit depending on my day. And actually, this can vary quite a bit. I watch YouTube, I watch Netflix. I can either find dramas or movies on there, TV series. I will often go on social media, so Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And although it can be hard some days to be alone for so long, I actually really enjoyed my spare time alone, and I know I'm never going to have this kind of time alone again. So, in a way, I'm kind of happy for it. My favorite hobby is actually doing puzzles. I'll do either flat puzzles or 3D puzzles. The most fun I've ever had with 3D puzzles was doing 4 different sets of New York and then one for the Sydney Opera House. My favorite TV show actually depends on the genre. So, for drama, would be medical dramas. My favorite medical drama, hands down, is Grey's Anatomy. My favorite comedy is probably The Big Bang Theory. And favorite sci-fi fantasy would probably be Doctor Who. I actually have quite a few favorite YouTubers. It all depends on, again, the type of YouTube channel. But my favorite YouTubers, starting with number 1, Dr. Mike. Please check out his channel. It's gotta be some of the best content out there. ZDogMD is also on YouTube, but I subscribe to him on Facebook. Also check out Jeff Holiday, Miles Powers, and the Non Sequitur Show if you want to get an idea of more of the pseudoscience aspect and kind of how I have gotten to where I am today because of those type of channels. They're all really, really good. So those are my favorite YouTubers. I also really like, though, for vlogging, the Dale Tribe and Violin MD. My favorite band or musician is actually a really hard question for me to answer. So it's not going to be a straight up, this person's my favorite band. It kind of depends on the kind of mood I'm in and the kind of music I want to listen to. I listen to country, I listen to pop, listen to R&B. I like Zumba, so I will listen to stuff that I have no idea what it means because it's in Spanish. Basically, if it has a pretty solid beat and it's really, really well done. I will listen to it. My favorite song is actually a parody done to Lucas Graham's 7 Years, and it's called 7 Years A Life in Medicine by ZDoggMD. This song made me cry, and it wasn't just the fact of the video being so powerful, but it was the very obvious steps that you go through. And being in biochemistry, I can relate to being burnt out, losing your passion for what you wanted to do. I experienced that myself, and I wasn't in medicine with science, so I can only imagine what feels like to pay thousands of dollars for an education that you really, really want to do because you love every second of it and you really want to help people, but you just lose the passion for it, whether it be a bad experience with a doctor yourself, or whether it be from one of your mentors that you happen to have a chance to shadow. Any of that, I can't imagine going through something like that and being so down that you feel like nothing's ever going to get better. Getting out of med school, having the same thing happen, but it coming from administrators or government or whatever that case may be, that you just can't do what you thought you would be able to do in medicine. That must be really, really tough. And so I guess I just related to that really, really well in the song. The first mentor I actually ever had was Steve Irwin. He has nothing to do with biochemistry. He's actually a wildlife conservationist, or I guess was. He passed away on September 4th, 2006, at the age of 44, during an unfortunate accident with the stingray encounter. He was known as the crocodile hunter, and he was pretty big in the United States at the time, so this was actually a pretty big loss for Animal Planet and Discovery Channel. When someone has young kids and a young family, it must be really, really difficult. But definitely check out Crikey, It's the Irwins. They talk a lot about this experience growing up without Steve around, and they've made Australia Zoo into something that Steve would have only dreamed of. So that is wonderful to see. And I guess the reason why I look up to him is because of the passion and enthusiasm. And it's the same reason that I look up to the people that I do now. My favorite quote is actually from one of my first mentors. I really, really do miss you, Steve. So this is from Steve Irwin, also known as the Crocodile Hunter. And this is from the DVD that they did as a tribute to him when he passed away in 2006 from the accident that he had. For those of you who are unaware of that accident, because you've never heard of them before, look it up on Google. And definitely check out the Irwin family. They are wonderful. The work they do is wonderful. But my favorite quote is this from him. No matter what you choose to do in this world, it is achievable. Just be passionate and enthusiastic in the direction that you choose in life, and you'll be a winner. Crocs rule. My favorite food is actually my favorite meal. And this is actually my fruit smoothies that I often have for breakfast. It's not the healthiest of thing, but I love them so much, and it's the only thing that I drink besides milk and water. And so I mix in basically mangoes, pineapple, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries into a cup, basically. So I have a half a cup from my one frozen berry mix, and I have a half a cup from another one. I put it into my magic bullet cup. I break a banana or take a banana out of the freezer, depending on which we have. And then I mix in a little bit of protein powder, just because I'm on a high protein diet at the time of this recording. Otherwise, don't use supplements. They don't do anything for you. But I actually do use this one for making my smoothie last a little bit longer. And I add about a half a cup to a cup of milk, depending on how much will fit. It basically just added to the top. My biggest fear is honestly probably heights. I can freeze solid if I'm near an edge or walking on a glass floor. Doesn't take much. And I only have to be a few feet off the ground before I really get nervous. But that doesn't mean I'm not willing to try and conquer that fear. My biggest pet peeve is actually one of the reasons why I'm doing this channel, and that is people spreading pseudoscience on social media drives me crazy. It doesn't help anyone, and it just demonstrates how little knowledge you actually know of science. Not a good idea. As of the time of this recording, my favorite book that I've actually listened to, because I don't actually read many books anymore because I use Audible, is Flow. And maybe I can insert a picture because I cannot pronounce this author's name. So, but if you want to read it or listen to it, definitely check it out. It is got some really good information on how you can improve yourself to reach your goals better and to how to improve your happiness and actually improve your happiness, which is really, really helpful. Thanks, Dr. Mike, for a wonderful suggestion. It's no secret that I love this province, and I guess I made that pretty clear by studying in Saskatchewan. I could have went anywhere in Canada. So why did I choose to stay here? There's just something about Saskatchewan that I just love, and I can't really explain it unless you basically talking about its home. And I guess if you have that feeling of you have moved away from your hometown and you come back and you get that feeling back again, then you kind of know what I mean. The sky is just unbelievable. The people are amazing. It's where universal healthcare in Canada was born. We all seem to pull together during the hardest of times, and that's a good thing. So there's quite a bit that I like about this province. Saskatchewan is a really unique place to live. We have very distinct seasons, four of them actually: spring, summer, fall, and winter. My favorite is actually spring. And this is because basically the temperatures are warm enough that you can go outside without a jacket, but there aren't any bugs to ruin your night out. I love flowers. I love plants. I love seeing everything in bloom. It's just beautiful. But there is something about every season that really is unique. Honestly, I don't know the answer to this question. I would be open to moving pretty much anywhere if that's something that would benefit both me and a potential partner. I am not picky about where I live, although I do kind of like small town life. It is something I could get used to if I lived in a city. I just need to be able to network to find friends. It's one thing that I really, really struggled with in Saskatoon, but once I got to know people in Saskatoon, I actually really, really miss it now. So basically, my answer is wherever life takes me, I'm open to pretty much anything. The answer is yes, I am single. My biggest turn-ons in a man are probably smile, sense of humor, and passion for their job, no matter what that would be. Even though I lean towards people who are already in the sciences just because I know that we have the similar interests. So similar interests would be really important too. When it comes to coffee or tea, my answer is actually neither. I really only drink water, milk, and my smoothies. And it's something to do with hot things. But as for coffee, I just usually don't need the energy. And I do like tea, but like I said, I just don't really like warm things unless it's really, really cold out. So Probably if I had to choose between the two, I'd go with tea, but you won't find me picking between these two. I will just say water. Weirdest quirk is that you can actually tell what device I'm using based upon how I answer that question that I'm answering. So if I'm using exclamation points, it's probably because I'm on my phone. But if it's on my computer, I'm probably using periods. And it's just because I learned to text mostly with exclamation points. And I write essays using periods. Things that I'm really, really trying to focus on right now. One of them is being more positive about my IIH. And the second is becoming more organized with everyday life. Thanks for watching this video all the way through. If you enjoyed it, definitely hit the like button, subscribe for more, hit the notification bell, leave a comment down below if there's anything you want to add or would like to see in the future, and have an awesome day wherever you are in the world. Have a great day, everyone. Bye!